G'day guys, and in this video I'm going to be showing you 10 underrated Minecraft mods. Now some of these mods do have a few 100,000 downloads, but these are mods that I feel like don't get appreciated enough when they do appear in mod packs and other things along those lines. That's what we're here to do today, appreciate their existence. Starting off with the Queen Bee mod. The Queen Bee mod adds in this new mini boss mod for Minecraft, the Queen Bee. Now she will not be angry with you initially, but she will attack you after you punch her, so she's kind of passive in the way. But if you do hurt her, she will come after you, as well as any other bees in the area will also get angry and start attacking you. The Queen Bee herself has a 100 HP and is very resistant to damage, and when she dies, she will drop her antennas. The bee antennas are a really cool item and very useful. It will make all other bees will never get angry with the player, even when you punch the bees or break their hives without having smoke underneath them. There is also a new weapon that you can collect from the big beehive where the queen bee will spawn that can potentially spawn also a stinger sword in there as well. This sword is faster than any other sword in the game and also can conflict poison and nausea to the enemies that you hit. Moving into our next mod, we've got a mod known as 𝓵𝓲𝓷𝓴𝓼. This is basically villages but underwater. It adds in these whole new structures that can spawn underwater that are known as sea villages. These sea villages can have a collection of different things such as living houses, warehouses, ruins, or just decorative buildings. It's all up to random. There are two variants of these mobs that can spawn in these sea villages, a metamorphosis and a coral metamorphosis. Both of them have the ability to trade with you, but a coral one also has the ability that they're quite wild as they use corals as their houses, but they can also randomly spawn and despawn, unlike regular metamorphs. Regular metamorphs will act like typical villages where they spawn in that village and that's all that you get for that village, and they'll stay there as long as they don't die, but the coral ones act like general Minecraft mods such as a wandering trader or something along those lines that spawn in at random, will be able to trade with you random stuff, and then will randomly despawn in the future. You can trade 3 different items with these mobs: prismarines, lapis, and diamonds, and you can get the equivalent value of a loot box right back out of them. Each loot box have the ability to get different items with them. You can get a prismatic loot box with your prismarine, which can give you some pretty low level things such as raw cod, salmon, tropical fish, pufferfish, sea pickle, and other bits and pieces along those lines. An aquamarine loot box, which you get by giving a lapis lazuli to the mobs. You can get a possibility of some iron, gold nuggets, enchanting bottles, never caught sea lanterns, and some prismarine blocks, as well as a magma and water bucket. And then the crystal loot box, which is sold at 1 diamond each, which can give you some emerald, iron, gold, turtle eggs, prismarine, sandstone, redstone, gunpowder, or some bones. But a far more interesting thing that comes with this mod is you can build the Altar of a Sea, which is a new player-made structure which you can be used to make your own sea village. Now, whilst you're in a survival world, you will need to build this at Y level 5 or lower underwater, otherwise it will not work. But in creative mode, you can place it anywhere, but you might have some flying water or dying mobs when the moment they spawn. Overall, a really deep and pretty awesome mod for Minecraft that you can use to expand the whole trading system that you might use in Minecraft. And hey, if you made this far into this video thus far, I'd like to ask you guys to hit the subscribe button down below, as it's highly appreciated. We're trying to get to 100,000 before the end of the year. Moving on to our next mod though, we have a mod known as Display Case. Now this is a very simple one. It gives you one new item in Minecraft, an item known as a display case. There's a block that can hold one single item, and you can use it to place any single item or block inside of it, allowing you to display some pretty cool things for decoration purposes, whether it be a very rare sword or item that you've gained from a certain mod pack, or whether it just be something that you really like or you're proud of the achievement of getting that, or whether you use it to display the items that you built along the way, such as your first wooden pickaxe, your first stone pickaxe, and other things along those lines. Moving into our next mod, we have a mod known as Eating Animation. Now this is a very simple premise of a mod. It basically gives you more of a multi-stage eating animation to any piece of food that you make, to actually make it look like that you're slowly eating the food. Instead of you going through the whole eating animation and the food suddenly disappearing out of your hands, it actually will slowly take bits off of the food, decreasing it as you eat it. For example, an apple will go from the outsides in, leaving the core until you eat the last little bit in the entire eating cycle. Moving into our next mod, we've got a mod known as Better Mushrooms. Now this mod just adds a new expansion to the whole Mushroom Island, and then a couple of new mobs that you might want to play around with, or maybe not. First off, we got the guys known as the Shroomies and the Shroomy Eaters. The Shroomies are very friendly and are very nice, but a Shroomy Eater looks exactly like a Shroomy, but also is a lot more more hostile to you. But these add a few more mushroom-like mobs to the game. There's also the mush creep, a big bulky boy, as well as the champignon, and there's also things known as these flying drake. Ultimately, just adds a little bit more detail and more bit of fun to actually go hunt down a mushroom island for, because you got some cooler things to actually explore when you get over there instead of the typical mushrooms and a few mushrooms and mycelium. It adds a little bit more to the mushroom island's detail. Moving into our next mod, we've got a mod known as tree felling. Now this is very specific that you just hear it this way, tree felling, because you've got tree chopper, tree falling, and now tree felling. Now the difference between this one and your other ordinary tree falling mobs is instead of the trees just falling over like you see in a majority of other mobs, or just completely popping away, it actually gives trees and logs a more of a gravity type of sense to them, meaning that as you destroy the bottom log, all the other logs will fall down to meet you at that bottom log. This can also create a cool effect when you're trying to destroy one of those weird, stupid big trees that can come from oak trees when all those logs come falling to the ground when you destroy the base one. Basically, the trees have no gravity until you destroy one block on the tree, then it all starts falling down to meet gravity's expectations of the world. Moving into our next mod, we've got the horse combat controls. Now this is a mod that adds in a beautiful new tweaks that I feel like should be a part of the vanilla version of Minecraft, as these tweaks are very useful and are very beneficial. This allows you to go from doing typical horse riding where you actually face the direction you're facing is the way the horse goes, to allow you to toggle a button that allows you to look around whilst the horse is still going straight forward, unlike what it does now. Instead of the typical when you look to the left or look to the right, the horse follows with you, only you will actually look to the left or look to the right, and the horse will continue going the same direction as you already were. This also gives you a button to actually toggle which controls you're going from, using the Y to change from vanilla controls to the combat controls. This allows you to actually use your bow and arrow when you're on a horse without the horse swapping directions, because you're now looking in a totally different direction than what you were beforehand, making fighting whilst you're on a horse far more easy to do and giving you far more freedom to your camera. But moving into our next mod, we've got a mod known as Blaze Gear. Blaze Gear is a forge mod that has in a new ingot that you can collect known as the Brimsteel Ingot. It is crafted by blaze powder amongst other things. They also have a burn time of 360 ticks, basically meaning that just by a simplistic raise, you can use this new ingot as fuel for your furnaces if you really want something overkill for your mega furnaces. It also gives you a bunch of new tools and armor. These tools have some unique features. They light targets on fire for 3 seconds automatically, they mine flammable blocks faster than normal, and automatically smelt mine blocks which drop their respective smelting EXP. Each level of fire aspect also adds 4 seconds or 4 damage to the duration of the lighting on fire ability. Enchanting them with Silk Touch works as normal, and also technically speaking the brimstone tools smelt the drops of blocks they break, not the blocks themselves, so things like Never Gold will still drop nuggets as normal. Note, when combined with Fortune will not be applied on the drops after they have been smelted and acts as the normal on the drops before they are smelted. What this means is basically when you're breaking, let's say something like an iron ore pre 1.17, pre the raw iron, it will only give you the single iron block and the single piece of iron, because Fortune will only work on the normal blocks it works on, like normal. It won't have to do too much over here. These tools can also be used as fuel in a furnace, though I don't know why you would want to do so. The crafting recipes of the tools are as expected, but with blaze rods instead of sticks. It also gives you a whole new set of armor, which are really cool, and equipping a full set of them will give you the player blaze arms. Basically speaking, you will have blaze arms swinging around your armor set, swinging around you as a character, giving you this whole cool looking aspect towards you. This also gives you immunity to lava and fire like Netherite does, but it's a little bit better. 20 points of defense, 3, 8, 6, 3 from top to bottom respectively, with some pretty decent durability, roughly the same as Netherite, with a 1.5 toughness per armor piece, 16 enchantability, and a 0.05 knockback resistance, which is slightly better than Netherite overall. Ultimately, it adds in a whole new feature of blocks and things you can use to create some pretty cool tools that you might want to use, and will probably allow the endgame to be a bit more fun when you collect all the necessary blaze powder. Moving into our next mod, we've got a mod known as 𝓵𝓲𝓷𝓴𝓼 Scarecrows. Now this just adds in a new type of decorative and functional entity to your world that allows you to make a scarecrow that you can place down. Scarecrows will repel enemies away from them in a very funny manner. The default scarecrow will only repel zombies though. If you want them to cover for more enemies, you need to change your scarecrow. Using some crafting recipes, you can dress your scarecrow up with a couple of outfits, each one of them protecting them against different enemies. First off, you have wolf outfits, which will protect against all skeleton-like mobs. Wolf outfits hat taken from from Minecraft Dungeons Wolf Armor, the Ocelot outfit which protects against all creeper-like mods who will run away in a hilarious fashion, and a Guardian outfit which will protect you against all forms of Ender-like man mobs. Overall, very useful type of mod to have in your game to allow you to propel any form of mobs away from your home base, making it so you don't have to be scared to go around the corner of your house to be blown up by a random creeper. Moving into our next mod, you've got Universal Ores. This just adds in new vanilla ore variants for andesite, diorite, granite, and tough versions, and there's also calcite that will generate naturally where they should precisely be, basically giving a few new different ways to find ores throughout the world. Instead of the typical stone variants or the now deep stone variants, you can now find other variants of the ores as well, which can blend in a little bit more with their other counterpart stone blocks in the world, which can ultimately lead to some pretty cool abilities to make some interesting decorations if you want to, or things along those lines. Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to click this video on screen here where you go through 20 survival Minecraft mods, and until next time guys, leave a like, goodbye!